And that is something that GAM really are good at, is all going at once as a team on the correct timing there. They just all call for it and full send.
That one. And I do think, the story of the top laners is going to be massive in this one. Kiaya, such a huge part of GAM's success, as now he's got to try to get away, but a flash in from Broken Blade. Kiaya is out of there, and Broken Blade gets first blood.
And it is Skewmond first on the gank, and it is during those reset timers.
The game, but the first few minutes of game one, setting the attitude, setting the pace for the series. And now Kiaya is going to be the target yet again. G2 did their homework. They know who they got to go after. And Kiaya is trying to get away as Skewmond continues chasing forward. Hans Sama doesn't even need to provide the extra damage. Skewmond lifts away with 20 HP. Now LeBron's going to pay the price, so GAM get one back. But G2 are making plays, and they're making more of them faster until Emo has something to say about it, riding into the Weaver's wall. Levi's ready to knock him right back up into the air. And the feat of warfare is claimed by GAM!
This is going to be a game where they do have Kiaya a little bit underfed, a little bit on the back foot. Meanwhile, though, on the reset up to back to the top side, they do commit to those grubs. So GAM actually allocate the Taliyah back down to the bottom side as Broken Blade wailing away and getting some turret plate value in trade for that commitment up by grubs.
This could be a big game here for Broken Blade. Opportunity to seize control over the bot side river and go in for the first Drake. First piercing arrow from Hans Sama, doesn't find Elio or Artemis. Now the Weaver's Wall has arrived. Emo's ready to fight. They're gonna go after him, but it's LeBron the first target. Crash down into the Magnet Storm, finds Skewmond, but he's already powered up by the Subjugate. Curtain Call opens up, and Levi's ready to jump in. Skewmond is already down, and Levi's taking a kill. Hans Sama walks out of the way of the seismic shove. G2 continuing to try to get away from this one. Emo doesn't have enough damage to make anything else happen as the Deadly Flourish flies out. Now Chain CC to Hans Sama. He's stuck around for too long, and GAM with the punish.
Emo do have theirs ready.
Okay.
Caps pushed in on bottom side first, though.
Let's see how it goes. The Herald's already down to 2/3 HP. GAM thinking about it here, as already Emo's ready to make the teleport come in and join the fight first. But a huge engage coming out from G2. They've already killed Elio before he can do anything. Levi's into the back line, looking to find some damage here to Hans Sama. Nice seismic shove back into Skewmond. A little bit more damage is needed, and they're finally going to take him down, but he also has to be traded back again for another one. Broken Blade and LeBron trying to get away as Kiaya goes Mega Form. The Deadly Flourish doesn't hit, but the Weaver's Wall is ready to ride. Emo makes his way into the fight once again, and Artemis is ready to follow up. A little bit more damage on Caps isn't going to be there, as Broken Blade has to slice and dice his way back away.
Lead from deleting the rel so early on. Kiaya here, since he is chunked out, not going to be a GAM answer. GAM have called, we're going to give you that Herald, we will go for the trade, but can they survive under tower?
Yeah, Elio's coming up here to try to help Kiaya. Kiaya hit the wave to guarantee that he would turn into Mega Nars, who would have the extra HP, but Caps goes in, Broken Blade gets it done. Elio now surviving, trying to in a 1 versus 5 with his top laner already down. He's got no way home. G2 will end up losing Caps as part of the process, so a 2-for-1 trade for them. They'll take the tier 1 turret at the same time. They'll guarantee the charge into the tier 2, and nobody in GAM colors is even around this thing, Kobe. They're gonna get the tier 2 in the top lane for G2 as well.
Yeah, but so much is getting traded because GAM got the Dragon. They also are getting the towers here in mid lane and in bottom lane. Of course, the secondary tower is worth more, that tier 2, than the outer ones, but GAM getting both of these outer ones in addition to their Dragon.
G2 grabbing kill number 7 this game, and now with Emo dead for the next 30 seconds, it's an easy turret take here in the bottom lane. That's another tier 1 going the way of G2 as they build up to a 1,500 gold lead. Hans Sama, nice sidestep there with a Deadly Flourish to guarantee there's no counterpunch for GAM in the mid lane, but topside, Kiaya will get back a tier 1 of his own.
Yeah, GAM keep trading objectives back, but G2 getting all these extra kills plus the objective because they're the ones making the force, making the play. So they're the ones getting the little bit of extra gold from those kills and have trouble in the side lanes. But you see G2 every time they have him pushing a side lane, they have most of the team hovering over to that side too, so they would be able to collapse. Meanwhile, the other side lane,
Oh, Kiaya versus Broken Blade. Kiaya getting some good damage there, but he immediately uses the Mega Nart to knock Broken Blade away. The Sterix Gauge shield is enough to keep Broken Blade protected, keeping him feeling safe. Does not have to worry about popping the Dominus here early. Kiaya throws out another Q into the wallop. Even though he gets slowed down by the Stride Breaker, he still feels safe enough. Broken Blade, though, wanted to spin the flash to try to engage there on the enemy top laner, as now the seismic shove, the Weaver's Wall, it's Emo, turning a fair fight unfair, making it so GAM comes out on top.
Yeah, Kiaya baited him in there for Emo. Emo's going to continue pushing as well, heavily shoving down there. Kiaya doing so much work on this tower with the Trinity Force, and they're going to trade the Dragon. Secondary tower picked up here. Kiaya barely gets it.
He gets it, and now he's got to try to join up with the rest of the team. Levi's going to be in some danger here as LeBron and Caps go in, find some initial damage onto the GAM drum there, but Kiaya goes in for the Mega Nart onto both carries. He's doing a ton of damage to the Caps and Hans both, but he doesn't have enough to get the kills. Caps is still alive. Levi is already down, and G2 holds on. Elio trying to retreat as G2 have a 4v3. Broken Blade tries to slice his way into the fight as Emo, Artemis, and Elio have to run away. It was so close for GAM, but Caps barely holding on, fires back from the other side of the wall, and G2 get a 2-for-1.
Yeah, that was barely a sliver of HP left for Caps. I mean, Kiaya had found such a good angle with both carries trapped inside the red buff pit there. Not done quite yet, though. Okay.
Oh, the flash in from Elio, but a nice backstep there from Broken Blade to get out of the way of the seismic shove. Elio down to 200 HP now. GAM wanted something, but not quite hitting their skill shots.
And during that, G2 are taking the Otacon here. So Skewmon should be able to finish that one up. The attempt on Broken Blade's a life right there. They do get the Otacon. GAM probably gonna have to wait on that next to Leo Wall. Just keep your defensive vision up. Okay, they actually catch Lebrov coming in.
Lebrov's gonna take a decent amount of damage here. Immediately followed up there, but a nice pulverize onto 3 coming out from Lebrov, and now Emo's in the middle of everybody, has to flash back over the wall trying to stay alive as Skewmon is on the chase. GAM disengaging. A catch on an Alistar is often not a catch like you think it might be.
That's one you throw back sometimes,
yeah.
Flowers.
Back in the water you go.
That is a dangerous one. It does cost Emo his flash as well, so an advance. Very dangerous for GAM to try and check into this.
Yeah, nice piercing arrow there from Hans Sama to put about 20% of the health bar into Artemis. Another one connects there onto Elio. As Levi wanted to go for a win, becomes lightning. Emo fires off the Weaver's Wall as Levi dives into the background. Hans Sama in some danger, but he ain't gonna be killed off just yet. Levi's about to die to Skewmon as G2's counterpunch is way too strong. GAM thought they had him, but the only thing they have is an ambulance ride. GAM has already lost 4. A triple kill for Skewmon, and Kiaya is stuck between a rock and a hard place and a pillar, and he's about to drop as well. The ace for Caps for G2, the victory march. Game 1's done.
G2 ripped them apart there with the counter. Skewmon is way too beefy there. When Levi goes in, he just gets chomped down.
It's exactly what you said back in the lobby, man. Xin Zhao might like to scrap, but Trundle is ready to answer the call. G2 up 1-0.
And Hui is not very good at playing side lanes. So even though they do have the Pantheon, to try and like cover Jason stuff here, Hui definitely much more comfortable in those siege situations.
Very good record, almost 70% win rate, I think, somewhere around there. Meanwhile, they've got a very similar overall rate in series, as now we got a problem for Emo, who flashes over the wall, but Hans Sama's ready to follow. Emo barely staying alive. Hans Sama in a little bit of danger now, too, as he continues going forward. Hans gets first blood, but then he's the second. G2 continue going forward as Elio's got to be protected, but the protection is not there just yet. Elio getting away. Skewmon has to flash to get it. It's a 2-for-2 so far as Lebrov is down to 100 HP, but he will survive.
Extra gold leads. However, Hans Sama on the Lucian might have something to say about it. He's got an extra little dagger. He's getting ganked.
Okay, Levi's coming down here looking to use that early money as Lebrov still only level 1. His heal's not even available. Artemis should be able to pick this one up for free. Levi just zoning Hans away so that there's no chance anybody but Artemis gets paid. It's GAM first to 3 kills. Gonna find that chicken camp stolen away.
Yeah, he didn't see Skewmon. The chicken thief.
Oh, Hans Sama in some danger here as Elio and Artemis immediately going in after the AD carry. The Lucian about to die. The flash forward. Artemis grabbing the kill now with a phosphorus bomb back towards Lebrov. It's a 2v2 double kill for Artemis.
Oh, the Corky's getting rich, Flowers. Another couple kills for him. Back out on the reset, though. After the replay, Dragon getting burned down. Levi is heading over. So watch out for the next possible hook. They're not going to go for it, though. It's already gone.
Yeah, they were too late to the scene. Collides into the turret, but it's still about almost a 3-wave lead for Caps, as now Artemis has to try to retreat. Here comes the Realm Warp. This could be the problem for GAM as Artemis gets stunned up, shut down. Caps gets paid.
The Pantheon ult was going to be one of the main only tools that was going to keep Caps in check. Now that there's no threat of that, they go for the grub bite.
Elio goes in, Lebrov throws up the door. Exhaust onto Levi, but Artemis is also here. Lebrov jumping back to the safety of Hans Sama, but a little bit more damage over the wall gets the job done. Artemis, kill number 4 this game. GAM with control over the grub pit can still claim 2.
So Flowers, eyes on the bottom side though. Caps is eating up.
Create enough distance. That was flash for flash jungler for mid laner there. As Broken Blade goes for the ulti onto Kiaya, and here comes the Realm Warp. Caps is looking to go aggro, and with Skewmon coming with them, the slam into the wall is there, and Skewmon's grabbing kill number 4.
Down Kiaya, they put a stop to that pushing of the Jace. But GAM are able to answer on the other side of the map. Even Emo here gets a little bit.
However, the numbers don't lie, my friend. You look up at that gold lead there at the top part of your screen. It is down below 500 now for the side of GAM. Emo eating a whole ton of damage here for the calling. Another beautiful wall slam coming out from Skewmon, as now Lebrov and Hans Sama are ready to make it a 2-for-nothing special. Hans Sama getting paid. G2 taking command over the game as Caps is about to take another plate over in mid. Here in this one, he's doing just fine. When you're looking at the rest of the map, it's still a lead for Artemis, but that's about it. Levi trying to put a little bit more money in Artemis's pocket. He secures it for himself. The clock is about to hit 14, and I do believe Kiaya got it right there at the last second, but he may pay for that last little bit of greed for the turret plate. Skewmon shows up, knocks him up into the air with a point-blank keeper's verdict. Broken Blade trying to follow, looking for a little bit more CC, knocks him back. Beautifully done. Skewmon and Broken Blade, they'll lose that plate just fine if they can get the kill on Kiaya. Well done by G2, and they will even up the kills 7-7 at 14 minutes.
So active this game. Another side lane play here pulled off by G2 to pick another member. And there's no answer this time.
But down in bottom lane, we got Artemis in some danger. He might just lose the 2v2. This is the point of power for GAM. He's got to be so careful now, as it looks like Elio's just going to be the sacrifice. Lebrov still dropping very low on HP. And right when it looks like it might have been a fair fight, here comes Caps. G2 get a 1-for-0 in the bottom lane.
He's going to get solo tower gold as the rest of them back off and funnel even more focused resources into the Rise.
2-1 in plate count, as GAM still currently uncontested for this Herald. Hans Sama and Lebrov are hanging around, but nobody else on G2 is nearby, but Caps is pushing the tier 2 turret in the bottom lane at the same time.
Exactly, it's a classic story here. We have all 5 members of GAM swing in the favor of GAM. A lot of standing gold left in these turrets, so Kiai's gonna be able to get this one, chop that gold lead from G2 down pretty quickly there. Then they also have the Rift Herald in pocket. That one can turn into very, very quick outer tower gold. Pop down that mid turret with the Rift Herald, so that one is guaranteed, and it's into a dragon, so let's see, Broken Blade want to finish up on the top side tower. He does have his teleport ready to come to this dragon fight, but GAM have the early priority into the river, setting up for dragon here.
Let's see how much value GAM can get out of their poke, out of their artillery on this one. Broken Blade's going to teleport into the enemy jungle, though. He's going for the flank attack. Levi is already on the Drake, but if Broken Blade catches him by surprise here, this is such a problem. Emo's going to be knocked into the team and immediately killed. Hans Sama on a killing spree with a beautiful slam into the wall with Keeper's Verdict to set up the second kill for Hans. Lebrov and Broken Blade completely controlling the fight. Broken Blade is redeeming himself in this series. That teleport flank completely broke the back of GAM.
It is huge. He got right onto Emo. They delete the way.
Now the tier 1 turret gonna get dove. More problems for GAM as Kiaya gets stunned up, and Caps is just machine gunning spells towards the remaining 2 players of GAM. Kiaya and Artemis staying alive for now. The accelerated shock blast will not find a kill on the back end of the fight, and G2, now with a 3,000 gold lead, will also earn themselves another neutral objective with the Dragon. I don't know if there's any way that they're going to be able to try a challenge for this. Now, G2 don't have Hans Sama here, so it will be slower than they'd like it to be, but they've already got the objective down to 1/3 HP. They've got Caps here, so they know that if GAM comes and tries to fight this, they will have to fight through the Rise, who does now also have Seeker's arm guard. Now, oh, nice flash follow onto the body slam there from Broken Blade. This time the ulti collides exactly where it needs to, and Caps goes on a killing spree. G2, they'll take the Otacon.
This is just so massive. They've been playing those sideways, playing the macro, and he's getting another one here.
Yeah, Skewmon wants to go in after Emo, and Caps is ready to follow. Levi with a defensive stun, trying to provide an opportunity for his teammate to get away. Caps triggers the Seraph shield there, as Skewmon and Broken Blade have to back away a little bit further. Lebrov going to get grabbed by the dredge line as GAM continue their chase. Won't land the CC onto Lebrov as he tries again to protect Caps, who flashes away from the depth charge. Broken Blade here on the front line as the TP is coming in to once again reinforce GAM. The ulti from the Gragas, not enough. Emo with the shutdown on Broken Blade. Skewmon on the run. He does have Deadmans to try to get away from this one, but GAM is coming around to cut him off at the pass, or are they? Okay, Scryer's Trinket finds him.
So even though GAM are setting up for Dragon here, this Dragon is only number 2 for them, and Caps makes the call, yeah, fine, go for the Dragon. I will continue to split push. So he teleports up to the top side. He forces the answer teleport up to that top side as well. Quay did get the shutdown there, so Emo with an extra little bit of a boost, but he really needs it.
He's not 4 levels down. It's still 3 levels down. That is still extreme, and Levi is now finding himself caught, slammed back into the wall. Lebrov and Skewmon need a little bit more damage, and Caps and Hans Sama have arrived. Instead, they'll turn their attention over to Elio, who cannot get away. Hans Sama grabbing the kill. Drive means that he is a tanky Gragas that's also spamming abilities at maximum speed. Lebrov goes in for an engage on Emo. Broken Blade knocks Elio back. Emo, not the right angle on him, but Elio will be a fine consolation prize. Kiaya shows up too little, too late to find much of anything, and the clock is at exactly the right time to make that play. 25 minutes into the game.
They use the Gragas, Poppy, and Braum to find their pick. They force GAM into this tight spot.
All right, G2, let's see how they can defend against this. Levi wants to go in there with a Grand Starfall, but he's immediately ejected by the Keeper's Verdict. G2 burns down the objective, and Broken Blade keeps everybody else busy. Skewmon into the back, finding the slam into the wall on Emo. G2 aren't stopping, and it's GAM dropping. Artemis caught in the middle of a Realm Warp, and 4v1. He's buried. Double kill back over to Broken Blade. 18-8, 8,000 gold ahead. Impressive gold lead that you already had. It's now in the territory where GAM must rely on a mistake from G2, and it needs to be a pretty colossal mistake. Look at the bounties on the side of G2. Skewmon and Caps, both with maxed bounties. Broken Blade is about to solo down the formerly fed Corky. Take a drink, Artemis. He's out of there. Call him the ride home. He's done. And now G2, they've got a 5v4 again for 30 seconds again, moving up towards the mid lane inhibitor, having already claimed the 1 in bottom lane. It's a full 5-man push. The minions flowing into the base as well, but G2, they want to play it safe. They don't want to overforce here, and they're going to back away.
Even despite their bottom lane getting behind early on, and it possibly being an angle there for GAM, G2 really able to cover it, Caps especially, and now they're coming to finish the job.
All right, GAM got to try to defend this last remaining lane of inhibitors, but it ain't gonna happen too easy. Broken Blade goes golden, trying to stay alive. The tier 3 turret buys a lot of time though. GAM with a nice defense, have already found 2. Caps into the Zonias, trying to stay alive. The shutdown back over to Levi. Caps wants to get away, but a massive shutdown for Kiaya. GAM come to life and defend their base on their last legs. Hans on the run, but Levi's on the hunt. What? Well, hold on. We got a TP coming in.
Braum has TP.
Yeah, that's a Lebrov TP from an unsealed spellbook. So GAM will go ahead and claim themselves the Drake.
Teleporting into the base.
Hansama's also here.
Damn, they pulled off the defense. They got the objective bounty shut down. Kiaya puts the ward in the brush, but he gets the bad news.
Yeah, he might have gone a little bit too close here. Deadman's played Poppy, catches up, and Hans Sama empties the magazine into him.
Relenting.
G2, there goes the last inhibitor in the GAM base. They go in for the engage. They're trying to find Levi, instead switching over to Emo. He's already dead, as now Elio's about to fall with him. Broken Blade goes back in for a nice 2-man body slam. Rune Prison on Levi seals his fate as well, and it's only Artemis left standing. But the Nexus turrets are down. G2 still firing, as Artemis has to flash to try to get away. Kiaya's back into the fight, but it's a 2v4. Cap staying alive, kiting Artemis out as Broken Blade comes back over for the CC into the kill. The ace for G2. The game for G2. Game point for G2. How are we feeling about this draft?
I feel very good about the G2 side of it, actually, because even though, yeah, that is not like the most magic damage, I think it's enough magic damage.
Channel here on the recall, staying far enough away, but Eris will still interrupt that back as Elio jumps in. Gleaming Clue over the wall, finds a target though. They're going to interrupt the recall of Hans Sama. Levi is here. Hans does have summoner spells available to try to get away from this one. Barrier is in. The feathers don't hit it. First blood goes over to Elio. Levi flashes forward to try to confirm it.
Now preying on the reset, even with Mountain Drake being fairly tanky. Burning it down nicely.
I mean, Mountain Drake is tanky to most junglers, but most junglers are also not a Nunu, so I feel like that should be pretty easy business there for Skewmon.
And a fairly common Nunu build is the Leandries into full tank.
Ooh.
Trying to go mess around with him, of course, with a spell book.
Stealing the enemy red buff. Meanwhile, they're in the heads of Artemis and Elio. Now Broken Blade is in danger. Levi making his way up here. They know the Ambessa does not have the ulti to try to outplay this. It's going to give him the opportunity. Broken Blade there with a flash away. Kiaya gets his kill. GAM, 2-0 on the board.
Levi and Kiaya, the GAM duo of the ages here. They find the kill onto Broken Blade. It's under tower. They're denying minions as well. The answer on the opposite side. The response after the red buff steal.
Oh, Elio trying to stop him here. Lebrov is down to 100 HP. Feet of Warfare going to be claimed now by GAM as they get themselves an outplay in a 2v3. They shoot down Lebrov and they slam the brakes on G2's play.
There, the successful play from GAM up on the top side as well. Now mid.
Lebrov getting charmed, but it's only the clone. Real one gets knocked up into the air, but Eris is taking a ton of damage here from Caps. Levi tries to go back in, but the Pop Blossom manages a catch. Levi in some danger. Lebrov knocks him down.
G2 trying to put a stop to that Gantom very quickly because this is going to lead right into the grubs as well. Caps getting instant value on top of it.
Caps trying to dive between turrets for the kill onto Eris. Wants to get the reset. Will end up getting the explosive charge detonation to bring this game back to near even gold.
When in doubt for G2 Flowers, where do you go? You go to mid lane.
You go to Caps.
Go play around mid lane. They go mid and everything just gets better.
It means Levi doesn't have the confidence to really fight Skewmon for this buff. He ends up losing out on that one. And now we've got Lebrov and Hans up here looking to make the kill happen onto Kiaya. Bullet time, Pop Blossom, Snowball, the whole kitchen sink.
Side of the swap. Can Artemis and Elio put as much pressure? They're getting teleported on. That's why Broken Blade is staying under here.
Yeah, Broken Blade knows he has the public execution if he wants to try to make something happen here, but they burst him down before he can do anything about it. Caps should be able to get one back here onto Elio with the explosive charge there. No amount of shielding is going to save him from that. Ends up being a 1-for-1 trade.
Yeah, Caps teleports in, tries to correct the situation.
Take down the tier 1 turret, but G2 is doing the same thing down here in the bottom lane. The grubs, it's 3 for the side of G2. They are burning through it faster. GAM still trying to get it.
Explosive.
It's a full race for the first turret, but it goes over to GAM, and they'll earn the boots with it.
Woohoo! Nice little race there. They do get that upgraded boots here for GAM, but G2 have taken the gold lead. And again, it is a recipe they have found success with. Huge gold lead, the majority on Caps. Difference this time around, Kiaya. The star here for GAM on his Jax. Can he carry?
Kiaya with the 40 farm lead over Broken Blade. An even stronger advantage than the plus 30 that Caps has in the mid lane there. Now Kiaya dodging away for the public execution, but Broken Blade's got Caps. Kiaya's not getting away from that one. He even wastes the flash on the exit to the fight. Individually, overall, it's about that much the other direction for G2. Hans Sama getting caught out by Eris, but Elio is too slow on the follow-up, so they can't get anything, and that just means low HP. But now Caps in danger. Levi over the wall. Caps jumps to safety. 2,000 gold between them, just in plates. Like you said earlier, it's been so much pushing, so much shoving waves, so much collecting plates, and now G2 are also going to grab themselves the Rift Herald. G2 have 3 grubs.
More solo gold, solo turret gold. Caps trying to move in, but they've taken over the jungle, and they do get what they came for. GAM with the force play. It's going to take Broken Blade a while to push in on top side. G2, they've got Broken Blade on the tower up there, and he's going to get it.
This means for GAM, you've got to make sure you get this Drake. If you're already giving away the top lane tier 1, you've got to get what you came for on the other side of the map. And they will be able to force G2 back for now. Elio goes in for a quick knock up there onto LeBron, but Skewmon rolling the snowball down towards the pit. Not going to matter. He's already too late. And some kind of an answer here. Kiaya has the teleport. He's down to the bottom lane, but Otacon is already down to 40% HP. Levi and Elio walking up, scaring G2 back. Eris ready to join. Already using one Spirit Rush. Finds a charm into Hans Sama, putting the pressure onto the AD carry, but LeBron is coming around from the side, looking to find the Pop Blossom. Otacon stolen away by GAM. Hans Sama with the flash over the wall, staying alive. Kiaya looking to chase him down. It's Otacon plus a kill over to GAM, but what about Elio? He gets himself back away. Broken Blade exhausted, having to retreat now too. GAM find a fight, they find an angle, they find what they needed. Eris moving top again to deal with Broken Blade on the Ambessa, who is having his roughest game so far of the series. Caps gets stunned as he tries to jump back over the wall. Kiaya on the hunt, looking for the Tristana, but Buster Shot is a great disengage mechanism. Problem is, here's Levi, the captain, gets it done as Eris continues his retreat away from LeBron and Hans Sama. The last remaining charge of the Spirit Rush is enough to get him to safety, but now it's G2 again, looking for pressure onto a tier 2 turret. GAM taking the tier 1 over in mid lane at the same time. Skewmon rolls a snowball up to see if maybe he can psych him out a little bit, but GAM is undeterred. Levi and Artemis do a lot of damage to this turret very quickly. This time around, Kobe, this is the difference. If G2 are getting a tier 2 top, GAM is getting a tier 2 mid. They're not allowing G2 to out macro them.
Yeah, the dynamic duo of this team. All right, Caps though, he wants revenge. And Eris, his Ahri ultimate isn't quite up. A couple of seconds left on it. He's getting chunked so far down.
Oh, I think Skewmon might just explode him. Yeah, okay, Caps was there, but he didn't need to be. Skewmon, nice job there finding the pick.
Yeah, G2, they make the call. You're going to be over by Dragon, so we'll make the side lane play on the other side of the map to get some gold back. That gold goes into Nunu, though, and that gold just kind of funds the dead man's plate. So not too big of an investment. They go for the teleport play. Can they make the pincer happen?
Yeah, they're going for the TP now as Caps has to rocket jump away to the very edge of the fight. Broken Blade wants to go in and he gets into the very back of the fight, but Hans Sama's already down. Broken Blade having to run away. Kiaya chasing further after the remaining targets. Lebrov trying to get a little bit of extra distance, flashes away from the charm of Eris. Hans is down, and now we'll see what else GAM can get from it. Elio walking into Broken Blade. Caps looking for the opportunity here on Artemis. The feathers are recalled, but they don't find the right target. Lebrov is picked off. GAM with another one. A 5v3 on the map.
And for Eris, his most played is Ahri. Artemis and Elio, both of them most played there for the split.
And Hans Sama, the target again as GAM go in, exhaust onto the MF, immediately followed up with the damage from the Xayah, and with Hans out of the picture, new targets remain. Lebrov, Pop Blossom will only mark his own grave. Double kill for Eris, set up by the bottom lane. GAM feeling good about this one. Levi ticks level 15 as GAM head over to the Baron pit. G2, they're recognizing it. They're going to take the consolation prize of the mid lane tier 1 turret. But Mr. Kobe, I will tell you what, I will take that trade every day of the week.
Yes, you certainly will, and you will like it. Broken Blade going to try. Wow, they're actually going to get quite a few towers here.
Now this trade is a little bit more dicey as they take the tier 2s in both mid and bottom. Keep pushing now. Caps and Skewmon, though, both heading up here. Eris wants to finish this off, but it may cost his life.
Good ward. The ward sees them on the rotation over.
Nice
Eris
job.
Pays respect.
And Levi, that's a lot of extra money if you let G2 pick these up. Skewmon, though, what?
Delivery!
The hell was that?
That was a speed delivery.
Okay, not exactly sure what went down there, as GAM now going to use the redemption to heal up. And they've got Kiaya and the bottom lane pushing towards the tier 2 turret as Eris applies the pressure back over in mid. GAM force down the tier 2 in bottom lane, back up to a 4,500 gold lead. They've got themselves 3 Ocean Drakes with 2.5 minutes until the Soulwood spawn. GAM continuing to push these waves forward. It's a 5v4 for the next 15 seconds, and GAM are going in. The dive coming out from Elio into the back line, looking for the kills here, as they've already killed Caps. He's down. Lebrov will go with him. Hans tries to fire back, but there's not a lot you can do when Kiyaya's already got a triple kill. GAM, smack him right in the mouth.
When all the pressure is on, GAM stands tall. They get another team fight. They're facing elimination. They get the kills, they teleport back, and they're looking for G2's Nexus.
They are looking for the end. They are looking for game 4. Skummon's back alive. Hans is still standing, but they're the only two. Skummon wanted to channel the ulti, but they won't let him do it. Now the first Nexus turret is already dead. Kiyaya finding his way to Hans Sama here in the back. Levi goes on a killing spree. Skummon goes straight into the graveyard. Lebrov's alive, but who cares? That's support Nico, and that's GAM taking us to game 4.
And they have the advantage here too, with Galio ultimate, with Cyan ultimate, really long range. Even though it's not a global, you can make a lot of quicker rotations. Look at this though, skipping some camps to go for a gank. Skummon down there on Neferi, getting into the action early.
Skummon's gonna make his way down here, but Lebrov is eating a ton of damage first. It's first blood over to Artemis. GAM outplay in the 2v3.
Yeah, they just lock up Lebrov there. They get the taunt, they get the trap chain right there. Artemis locks him up.
Seen so many times so far throughout this series. Early advantage for Caps in terms of his presence in the lane, his ability to farm. He's up 2 waves. Kiyaya going in after Broken Blade. Needs a little bit more damage. Finds a grass proc. Broken Blade goes for the rupture. Kiyaya's got the sidestep. He hits him with a little bit more damage, but a nice silence to interrupt the decimate. Broken Blade's gonna eat the apples. It heals him up enough. Now Lebrov with rotation over. Kiyaya cannot get the kill. And G2 even up the kill score. But a TP is coming in. What is GAM planning to do? That wasn't a TP, that was a Lilia Swirl Seed. They look the same with that skin.
From Kiyaya, who had also run out of mana, Kiyaya really focused, tunnel visioned on getting his kill on Broken Blade. But it turns around and goes back to favor of G2. Of course, they are able to get their consolation prize. They get their dragon on the other side of the map. That again.
Artemis is even more so.
Meanwhile, it is going to be the rotation up to those grubs. They do get them with their swap. Artemis here. Can he do it on the Caitlyn? Of course, so good at keeping up the pressure. Has the BF sword now, working towards that Yuntal. The Twisted Fate, though, very, very painful to deal with. That's why Artemis has the cleanse, has had both summoners available to him. They have dealt with the pressure that has come their way from jungle.
Ooh, Caps gonna find himself in a compromised position here. There's your lilting lullaby. Caps is put to sleep. Eris jumps in to join the fight. Ace in the hole to guarantee it, and Artemis gets a paycheck. GAM find the enemy mid laner at precisely the right time.
You said it last game, Flowers. Go to the source of the global.
All right, Elio's ready. Broken Blade is pretty tanky here on the Cho'Gath, though, at least in terms of health. Resistances might not look that impressive. Now gonna get taunted up. They wanted to see if that taunt might have been able to bring him closer to the trap. A little bit more damage will get it done. Ace in the hole, that's the goal. As there's Broken Blade, though, getting the kill back on Kiyaya to make it a 1-for-1 when the dust finally settles. GAM, they force the kill onto the tanky Cho'Gath. They get the ult out of the Twisted Fate at the same time. Kiyaya was already dead by the time Cats got there, so the Twisted Fate ult ultimately just ends up being a waste.
Yeah, he does clean up with the minion waves up here, and he is going to go for the stop.
Oh, that's a huge taunt from Elio. If they can get a little bit more, the winds of war are blowing, and Caps is blown away. GAM picking up another one as the Swirl Seed flies in, but it won't find the mark on Lebrov. Levi has made his way up, and they're going to continue forcing this further forward. Really, really impressive stuff from GAM here early. I am loving Elio's play on this Galio as well. So many good taunts, so many good justice punches. Kiyaya versus Broken Blade. The meatball war once again raging as they both try to stack as many grasp procs as humanly possible. Broken Blade winning out in the trade for now. Kiyaya, the problem with using these decimates against Cho'Gath, 2 of the Cho'Gath abilities interrupt the channel, so you've got to be ready to spring it early if the Rupture's about to hit you, or if you think he's about to get the cooldown off on the Scream. Flash for the eat! Broken Blade gets the solo kill.
Being able to push the wave in, he forces the teleport out from Kiyaya too, so now teleport advantage from G2.
Look at the damage Artemis puts out. Hans Sama already down to half HP after Artemis tags him here with a headshot. Stolen Twisted Fate ulti coming in. Here's Eris. There goes LeBron. There goes Hans. There goes the turret. But here comes Broken Blade. He's in the middle of 4. Cho'Gath, he might be hungry, but he ain't eating today. GAM, just slam him.
With this year, okay.
Let's see how it works here.
Off here is pretty close.
Neither one of the top laners has a teleport to join this fight. GAM with total control over the top side river. GAM with a 3,000 gold lead as a team, about 2,500 of that on Artemis specifically. And if the Caitlyn's there, G2 shouldn't care. Just walk away, let them have it to use to build this gold lead, and they will use that resource immediately. Darken Dagger hits Artemis, but just one dagger isn't going to be a massive threat. Herald's about to charge. And there we go, tier 1 turret down in the mid lane. That's 2 turrets for GAM now.
Priority continues for them. Broken Blade actually walking up the river. What is the play from G2 right now? Deal with Twisted Fate, deal with the Leona. Getting more and more answers here, but the dive.
Okay, Eris getting dove, tries to use the ulti to defend himself. Immediately, Elio comes crashing in. He wants to find a taunt, but he doesn't find anybody. Now Kiaya's shown up. G2, they still got a 5v2. The turret is about to fall. Kiaya in danger as Elio tries to get away. Kiaya's fully running. GAM caught off guard. They'll lose 2 plus a turret, and G2 aren't done yet. Kiaya trying to stop the back on Caps. This is a big punch back coming out of G2. Now GAM are going to at least get the tier 2 in the mid lane as a trade, but the problem is Broken Blade's taking the same thing up there in top. This was a massive play for G2. That tier 2 turret, half remaining on it. GAM going after their 3rd Drake of the game. This would bring them to Soul Point. They lost about 1,000 of their 3,000 gold lead, but look at the Caitlyn traps beautifully placed on the ramp. If Skumon wants to go in to try to contest this, it is a one-way trip there for the dog. He decides discretion is the better part of valor today. That is 3 Drakes for GAM.
They're going for the Silas right now. Artemis, Eris, Wise teleport out.
Potential here on the Silas. Now, let's see how this fight shakes out with all the resources that are now back up after the last scrap. You can see Levi has 5 seconds left. Artemis needs to be so mindful of his positioning. He is the key for both teams in this. If G2 can pick off the Caitlyn, that's their green light. If GAM can protect him, they can steamroll a fight. The Crab is going to be the first part of the fight. Eris moves in, scaring G2 back. Crab going to be claimed by G2, but now the fight starts off. A lot of damage on LeBron as he tries to flash away, but a big multi-man sleep coming up from Levi. Kiai is in a little bit of danger, but G2 are already losing multiple members. Broken Blade tries to get away. The Swirl Seed tags him, but it doesn't matter. The Mountain Drake, the Mountain Soul, Broken Blade, all claimed by GAM. GAM still putting the DPS into it. Broken Blade over the wall. Doesn't look like he's going to go for any kind of a steal. Kiaya and Eris both backing away now. Lane tier 1, G2 gonna force that one down. Caps providing the damage. Kiaya goes in for the initiation, doesn't find what he's looking for, but he does zone Caps away. Hans Sama looking for Artemis, who flashes back to try to get to safety. Artemis still bleeding to the darkened daggers. G2 wanted to make something happen there, but they don't quite find it. Now LeBron and Skumon taking a ton of damage as Kiaya continues chasing after Broken Blade. Eris zoning Caps out of the fight, so TF cannot join. Broken Blade's knocked up into the air, and Artemis is locked and loaded. GAM find another one with the front line of G2 hurting now.
Showing up for GAM.
100% kill participation on the Caitlyn, 90% kill participation on the support Galio from Elio as well.
We're actually looking at the mid lane here. Cho'Gath is in the brush on the side there.
Oh, Skumon steps up straight into a taunt! Elio, the Galio, absolutely on point all game long. That dog just got old Yellard, and it's time for GAM to head to the Baron.
The vision control here for GAM does force the check from G2, and you're thinking, oh, he's gonna be able to press W, go untargetable. But Elio doesn't even let him. Springs the trap so quickly. They get Skumon, they get the Baron. Caps trying to split push back there.
Yeah, you're going to see Broken Blade and Caps. They use the Twisted Fate ulti to Skumon. A full send Elder Steel could be the only chance G2 really has here. They're going to place the ward over the wall, but it's blocked by the control ward. Now GAM, they're going to pull off. They'll go after LeBron instead. They know if they kill him off and they have a 5v4, it'll be so much easier to take the Elder fight guaranteed. Decimate with the stun. Justice Punch gets it done. Artemis goes godlike, and GAM now have their man advantage for the next 30 seconds. G2 still scrambling to get into a position here, but there's still no flashes on Hans and Caps. They've managed to heal up, but that's not enough. Broken Blade with a rupture over the wall, just trying to look around, see what's happening. Eris and Kiaya approaching from the side. Kiaya's got so much of a shield, nobody can even break it. Eris stealing away the killer instinct. Now it's 2 dead on G2. The Elder down to 30% HP, and GAM should be able to secure this here. Caps going in for the hero moment, but it ain't gonna happen. Instead, he just teleports to the other side of the rift. GAM with a 6,000 gold lead, with a Mountain Soul, with Otacon, with the Elder, with a man advantage for 25 seconds, marching towards the G2 base.
They're coming for that base. They're going to destroy this tower ever so quickly. G2 have to pray right now with the Elder Dragon and everything at their back. GAM are going for it.
There's still 10 seconds on Broken Blade as GAM goes straight in. Hans Sama's already going to be under pressure. Eris continues the dive. G2 continue to retreat. They can pray if they want, but God's not listening. GAM force down the Nexus turrets. They make their way to the Nexus, and after starting at a 0-2 deficit, GAM will take us to Game 5, and Silver scrapes.
They go with the power of the Senna. Very strong here for lane with the poke damage, and does get to be very useful for team fights later on.
Kiaya won't be caught by that trap, but Skumon coming in mid lane here finds a nice stun onto Eris. There's the follow-up from Caps. Shockwave isn't going to do a whole lot. It's first blood over to Skumon. Oh, but now we got a problem up in the top side for Kiaya. Skumon once again trying to make the difference. Kiaya misses the Q2, goes in for the Q3 onto the Viego. Continues trying to make a little bit of extra distance with the third, and Tofo Strike's gonna find him this time. Broken Blade gets a kill. Both G2 solo laners can spell disaster very easily. Kiaya trying to get away from Broken Blade. He's already got the Iceborne Gauntlet completed. Kiaya still has components. He does not want to fight this. The turret already shot him another time. Kiaya with the flash away. The Dawning Shadow doesn't find the mark. All right, Kiaya back up into position here on the Aatrox. Still just the difference between having an item and not. Broken Blade just feeling so much more powerful than this Aatrox. Goes all out, provides himself an exit route here, as now the World Ender is popped. Broken Blade trying to use the Pathmaker, but that means the Vi ulti has the opportunity to go back in. But Skumon's also here. Broken Blade with another shield. GAM finds the first kill, but now Kiaya's got to make sure he doesn't fall. Skumon with the defensive ulti back over the wall. Abyssal Dive forces the Summoner spell out of the otherwise immobile mid laner of GAM, but this whole time, because Lebrov and Hans were rotated up to the top side of the map towards all this scrapping, it meant that Artemis and Elio could get the bottom lane turret first. That's going to give them first turret credit. So now we're in a contest for those boots. It's 2 kills for GAM or 1 kill for G2 to earn them, as Hans Sama is at least going to retake the gold lead, taking down the tier 1 turret in top side. Just spawned with control over the top side river. Skumon and Caps going after the objective. Elio and Artemis stepping up here towards Hans and Lebrov, but this Tahm Kench is such a great denial pick against Vi.
Yeah, and because they had rotated their duo over early and sacrificed their bottom lane, but using that thing, it already is fairly low.
Lebrov gets rooted up there by the Seraphine, forced to flash out. Now they're ready to follow it, but that's a Seraphine ulti. They're throwing the whole kitchen sink at Tahm Kench. He gets away with an Abyssal Dive. A little bit more damage is still required. Levi still going in. Finally, Artemis secures the kill. GAM spent a lot, but they got what they paid for.
Plus Blade of Ruin King for Kalista, plus the Seraphine on their team. Seraphine plus Orianna shield, so lots of synergistic team fighting for them. On the other side, of course, Hans Sama here, stacking up the Senna. Slower now than previously, but also going to add the enchanting to his team. And they do that Rift-Tailed play, even if it was delayed by Lebrov going down for the vision. They still pull it off. They still get their goal.
Can he get the Herald down to the turret? Nice drifting from Skumon there, crashing the Herald into the tier 1 turret in the bottom lane to guarantee they get that one as well. G2 with a slight gold lead. GAM's not going to let him just take this third Drake of the game, though. GAM ready to move up and try to fight. They've caught Caps. He's in some danger, but the blast cone gets him away. G2 mid laner at half HP. Dragon resetting and losing patience. G2 still with control over the bot side river. Keep your eyes on Caps. GAM trying to move up, apply a little bit of pressure. The Dragon down to half. Attacking GAM now, putting a little bit of damage into the health bars. Broken Blade's got a lot of spears in his back. Chunk down to half himself. But remember, if he goes all out, he can still try to regenerate a lot of HP. G2 decides against it. They don't want to potentially throw the lead here. They give the Mountain Drake over. Seraphine ulti into the Tri-Brush only finds Broken Blade as he path makes out.
They also can turn it into some gold as well.
GAM about to tie this game up. It is 3 turrets to 3, 2 Drakes to 1, still 2 kills to 2. The next kill determines the boots. Q3 that time finds it onto Broken Blade. Pathmaker does not interrupt, but Skumon, he's so strong on this Viego. He's soloing down the Otacon for a little while. It's down to 30% HP when Caps moves up to help him. G2 easily secure this Otacon for themselves. And Kobe, although the gold is as close as it is, now if we look at the total amount of flower petals claimed by G2, 27 versus 1. That is a massive amount of adaptive force.
Or GAM then.
Yeah, and the timer favors GAM here as well. 24 minutes and 15 seconds on the clock means that there's no chance for G2 to try to trade something across the map there in the Baron Pit. Still not spawned yet. Otacon obviously already taken. Now, 2 Drakes to 2, 2 kills to 2, 3 turrets to 3. Everything is so close except for those flower petals. Again, it's about a 2,500 gold total team value.
The flash out of that Senna.
But now,
See if it's worth.
exactly, they did spend the Kalista ult, the Seraphine ult, the Vi ult, and G2 are going to use the opportunity to take the tier 2 turret here in the bottom lane. The play ultimately favors G2. Okay, Skumon going to step up again. The harrowing path allowing him to approach close enough to see what GAM is doing without putting himself in mortal danger. Death ball for both teams here in mid lane.
And the pressure is just so big. In an elimination match here on the international stage, you don't want to be the one to make the critical mistake, but you also have to have that killer instinct if an opportunity exposes itself to pull the trigger, to go for the kill.
Orianna shield
Caps
on
here.
Levi. Okay, Abyssal dive from LeBron. Kiaya
They
the
do it.
target! G2 have already got him! Feet of warfare for G2! Kiaya down! GAM on the retreat! A nice knockback onto Elio, but Broken Blade has gone very far forward. He uses the Pathmaker to get himself back out. That is a massive pick from G2 Esports. Just got updated. That is the second longest timer to claim the Blessing of Noxus, which is the boots, across all Tier 1 regions in Split 2. The longest one was 31 minutes, but we don't have time for that. Caps has been caught out. Levi goes in for him, but Lebrov's got the save. Tom Kench against Vi. He's made for this. Beautiful counter from G2, and the game is blown wide open. Han Sama with a kill. Caps with another, and G2 are about to take the Baron.
Caps doing it. G2, they're going to get the Baron. That will put an end to the stalemate. They will push in.
This game was so close for so long. For 29 minutes, they stared each other down. And when push came to shove, who steps up? Caps.
G2 wearing purple now.
Found a lot of value out of those so far this game. It feels like most of GAM's engage attempts have been onto the Lebrov Tom Kench, trying to shut down that get out of jail free card, but he's just so tanky.
Yeah, G2 with the Baron buff. They just get the split going. They're going to get the 4-1, claiming this gold, closing in slowly but surely. Huge gold lead for them.
Now, G2 is tired of waiting, and Broken Blade will create the space to pierce the base of GAM as G2 will find their first inhibitor here in the top lane. They'll find the second in mid right thereafter. That's 2 inhibs down, 32 minutes and 45 seconds into the game. Those will remain dead. No, if they give over triple inhibs, there's no way to even leave the base at that point. G2 keeping the pressure on. Center route finds Kiaya. Tier 3 turret, about 3/5 of the HP remaining on it. 20 seconds until the Mountain Drake spawns. Hans Sama with so much range, easy to step up and take pot shots at this thing. As another wave steps up to the side of GAM, Levi wants to go in. The Seraphine ulti over the top. It only finds Broken Blade and LeBron, and now Levi is going on a one-way trip. GAM trying to force the fight forward, but Kiaya has to flash back. Caps is ready for the counterattack. Elio is saved by Artemis, but the Dawning Shadow finds multiple health bars. Artemis is already down. Kiaya and Eris both about to follow. No raid boss Aatrox in this one. Eris is gone. GAM is aced, and G2, they had to work for it. They had to sweat for it. They had to bleed for it, but they won't be denied. They eliminate GAM and move on to the main stage.
These were some of the best highlights from today's matchup. Which moment was your favorite? Let me know in the comment section below. This is OP, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.